as sort of what are the improvements that have come from listening to that feedback from you. So the main thing really is that Clearhead has been sort of started in September 2018, and our mission was basically to make sure that we could make it easier for people to get help. And my background, I'm a medical doctor, and I sort of was working in pediatrics, and just was very sad about the fact that we had this highest youth suicide rates in the OECD countries, and thought that there was a real opportunity for technology to reverse that trend and improve the experience of getting help. And just to kind of give you a sense, the current public wait list right now to get help is about 3 to 6 months. On Clearhead, it's you can be seen within a few days, and that's all thanks to yourselves as providers who have allowed for that availability. And just to give you a sense of what we were proudest of is we had one of our users sort of reached out for help at 11 p.m. on a Saturday and had an appointment at 2 p.m. on a Sunday, and that whole process went through seamlessly from when they reached out for help to when the therapist invoiced us within 14 hours. And that was not an acute case, that was just a normal person wanting a bit of help. And it was happening in person, and it was happening during the weekend. So really there is an opportunity for us to improve the way people get help. And we can now service about 14% of New Zealand to get free therapy through Clearhead. So thank you again for taking the time to be a part of our network. All of this is only possible because of you, and that's why it's really important for us to make sure we continue to listen to your feedback of how we can improve the system for you. So I'll pass it on to Karushi, who will sort of highlight sort of what are some of the things that we've done to improve the Clearhead system.
Awesome, thanks, Angela. I guess for some of you, maybe a few of you, I've probably caught up with you guys in the last couple of weeks or last couple months to get feedback, and yeah, it was all from that first survey I sent out. So yeah, thank you, Angela. I'll first take you through the improvements to our search algorithm. So that's when clients search for therapy, filters, location, online therapy, when they select any of those, why the results come up as they do. We also migrated to a new authentication system because we're having a few problems with logging in and resetting passwords. So yeah, you'll be pleased to know that that happened at around 1 a.m. this morning. So I will also send out what the support email is if you guys run into any problems. And then together as a group, I want us to kind of go through and migrate towards the new calendar sync, and I'll put up a few rules about how to get that done. And then finally, I'll take you through the improvements that are coming in next year. This is what we've pegged that we want to do. This is from an amalgamation of feedback from all of our from our network, from our clients, from a few partnerships that are coming in, some really big partnerships. Yeah. So if that's all good, I'll just get started. And just FYI, the session is being recorded so that you guys can watch it in your own time. And yeah. So first, I'll start with the new login system. So for anyone that's used it today, you'll find that this is what the new login, I guess, screen looks like. And this update fixed a few bugs with, I guess, logging in, staying logged in, and resetting your password. Now, if you try this at all in the next, like today, tomorrow, this week, and you're having problems, please give us an email at therapist-support@clearhead.org.nz. That email will pop up a few times, just so that, yeah, build a bit of familiarity towards it. Now, the search algorithm improvements. So we made this change at about 2 months ago, and it was to mainly combat the fact that a lot of our clients were booking therapy with our network. However, some of our therapists didn't have accurate availability set up. So what that resulted in was our team chasing the therapists up and seeing whether the time that that was booked was actually available. And then in the off chance that it wasn't, then we would have to go back to the client and tell him or her, sorry, that time's not available, would you like another slot? And so really this improvement happened to mitigate that, because that experience is not so good. I think a lot of us can attest to that, being not professional in any way. So what we did was, the first leg was to improve our search algorithm to show the therapist that matched the most filters that the client entered. And then if that therapist had calendar sync enabled, followed by whether they are free within the next 2 weeks. And then the final criteria is whether they're close to the user's location. For the last point, you may ask, what is the point if it's a video call? The feedback we've gotten from clients was that even though it may be remote, they would still like to see people close to them, because in the off chance in COVID, obviously everything's remote. But when it doesn't go remote, then they would like to be in person, and rather than switch therapists entirely and break that rapport they've built up over the numerous sessions, they'd rather just switch to in person. And
yeah,
so
maybe just to feed onto that, before when we don't have the lockdown situation, usually about 85% of our therapy is actually delivered in person. So people still do prefer in person, and so that's why that's still important for us.
Cool. So this means that any therapist that has a calendar sync will be more likely to be shown than those that do not. Because the ones that have synced calendars have a realistic indication of availability, so it's more accurate, which means that we reduce the number of events that get counterbooked or cancelled and rebooked. So that was the purpose of that. We will field questions at the end of the session, so if you do have any, please note them down, and we'll try our best to answer it at the end. So onto my next point. So this will be a group activity, hoping that everyone's got a computer handy and that they can join in. So this is just about migrating from our old calendar sync to the new one. So this is the second leg. So now that we've mentioned the search improvements, it's about getting onto that newer calendar sync. So so before we continue, this kind of activity is only useful for therapists and counselors that use existing calendars that are either Google, Apple, Outlook, Office 365, or Microsoft Exchange. For anyone needing to integrate with an external system like Clinico, Timely, or Calendly, I implore you to email us at therapistsupport@clearhead.nz, because we are in the middle of writing up documentation for how to actually integrate with those three specifically, and we can support you one-on-one with that documentation. So yeah, so let's continue. So the first thing to do is to navigate to my account. So that's on here. I'll just log in. Awesome. So if you click on the top right and then go to my account, and then once you're there, you just click on legacy integrations. And if we can just, when we get to that stage, please let me know. So the reason we need to disconnect is because the system, if it detects two calendars being connected at the same time, then it'll throw a bit of a fit. And so the next step would be to see if you do have a calendar integrated. There is normally a configure button, and then if you click on that button, there's a disconnect, a link, and that would disconnect.
Not in my account yet. I'm not even my account. It was so fast.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
So if we sign out again,
Can't see it. Oh, hang on, not so fast. It's just okay. So I put okay.
Kirishi, we will send this video on as well, so that you can watch it in your own time as well. So we're just going to so yeah, we'll run through the process, and Kirishi, I think it might be easier if you just step through on the system rather than switching back and forth with the presentation.
Sure. Okay, cool. So from here, yeah, if you navigate to Legacy, I don't have one currently synced at the moment, but when you do, you'll find the configure button. If you click on that configure button and go disconnect, then that step is done. I'll just give you guys a couple of minutes before I continue to the next step.
Sorry, Kurushi, I'm going to ask a question here because you're using a term and I can't even see it written on the thing. What's legacy?
Sorry, that takes me to a very good point. Give me a second. Let me just sort that out for you guys. I'll just stop. Give me a minute.
So, Diane, basically, some of you would have already had your calendar sync, and as we transition to this new system, it will be more secure. It will be more less errors will happen, and so we are basically needing to phase out from this older version to this new version.
Okay, so I'm already phased out because I withdrew the calendar thing wasn't working for me at all, and 2 weeks ago it took me off, so I haven't got. I mean, I've got a calendar, but the calendar sync's not engaged. So
okay, cool. Yeah, so then if that's not engaged, you don't have to worry about that step, and we'll just move. Kurushi will move to the next step, which is just calendar integration.
Cool. So for those of you that have not enabled calendar before, you're fine. So let's just we can just wait for that step. So can everyone confirm that now they see calendar and legacy in their navigation in this My Account nav?
Yes.
I don't seem to be able to bring up the Clearhead calendar and have you on at the same time.
Oh, that's okay. That's right. I'll talk you through it if that's okay. So if you just listen to my voice, then cool. So for those of you that can see calendar and legacy now, if you could click on calendar integrations, you should see the Google icon, the Apple icon, the Microsoft Exchange and Outlook. So just please click on your respective email accounts, the ones that you would like to sync to the Clearhead calendar, and just go through with linking the account. It will take you through the steps.
Sorry, can you just say the beginning? Because when I tried to bring it up, I got logged out. So
that's all right. So Victoria, if you just log in to start, and then on the top right-hand corner, you'll see your profile picture. If you click on that, you'll click My Accounts.
Yes.
And then when it gets to your My Account, you should see calendar integrations.
Yes.
If you click on that.
Yes. Okay.
And then, so yeah, Kurushi, did you want to show an example of syncing?
Yeah. So for those of you that are still looking at the screen, I'm currently going to I'm going to be clicking on Google, and it's going to take me to the screen first. So this is the terms of service and privacy policy for the system we're using. So all I'm going to do is click I agree and link Google account. And at this stage now, it's going to ask me to choose which Google account. So my Google account is kurushi.arendavasodi@clearhead.org.nz. So I will click on that, and sometimes it'll ask you for your email password. I think mine's already saved. And then at this stage, I'll just click allow, and it will take me back to the same screen, and will show me that my calendar account for the email I linked is active. Cool.
Mine says pending.
Pending is fine as well. I think if you refresh the page, you'll eventually get active.
Okay, great. I'll refresh it.
Another way to double check is after you've linked your new calendar, if you just go to the appointment calendar, your event should come through as black with the event names.
Yeah, I'm active now.
Yeah, I would go to my calendar, but I have no events naturally because I don't use it. I don't use my my calendar for any therapy, as I'm not a licensed practitioner or anything. So yeah. So if anyone's having any issues apart, then please do email us at therapist-support@clearhead.org.nz, and we will happily help you resolve any issues to do with your calendar. I did have a few optional items I wanted to take you through because it's a few questions we've gotten before. So if we can all see the table on the bottom here, It's got our account name, which is our email address, copy details, published to. So this copy details one is the one to pay attention to. So as you can see, it's ticked. What this means is that when we bring over events from your email address, we actually bring over the name as well, just so you can see what event it is. But if you are at all sharing this account with anyone who manages your therapy calendars and you don't want them to see your private stuff, I would say just tick that off and click save. And then no one will see your event names. They'll just see a block of time that shows that you're unavailable.
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
No worries. So if you see there's a copy details column here on the calendar integrations. So if you take that off and you click save, what that does is it hides the names and events of your events and when we pull in your calendar information. That's just for security purposes. So if someone is managing your Clearhead account for you, say you're part of a clinic, then it'll just hide those details so no one will see your private information.
So maybe just to kind of clarify, so quite a few of you have sort of reached out to us and said that you want to be able to sync the calendar, but you don't want the client's details appearing on the Clearhead calendar. You just want to block out the time automatically. So by unticking that box that Karushi just talked about, copy details, that means that on the Clearhead calendar, we will just be able to pull that time is unavailable, but we won't see any client details. And so that should hopefully provide you confidence, which is around sort of the patient information coming across on the Clearhead calendar. And of course, if you're using Clearhead's calendar to manage all your therapy appointments, then we of course suggest that you allow for the details to copy through. Otherwise, he'll be a bit confused on what that time slot is about. Cool.
Did you say it says make sure you allow Chronify to access account?
That's
is that
right.
correct? Right.
Oh,
That's
brilliant.
correct, yeah. So that's the system we use.
Chronify is the system we use to handle the calendar integrations because it's quite a laborious task to build it ourselves, and they're a very secure platform. So yeah, we made sure to check all the security policies before we integrated with them.
Okay.
So at that stage, I would click allow if you're okay with that.
And now I've missed the bit that you just said about keeping some stuff private.
Oh, that's okay. I think you're still at the stage where you're connecting your calendar. I think, yeah.
So save.
Yeah. So again, we will be sending this video across to you for you to review. So I think, Karushi, we should probably move along.
Awesome. So for those of you that had some trouble, yeah, please do email us at the mentioned email address. I'll send that through again. So I'll just click through. Awesome. So yeah, so for support and syncing your calendar, please contact us here. And this is the email address that we'd use for support calls regarding that. The next step is just wanted to let everyone know about the features that are coming in 2022. So invoicing is a bit of a snag at the moment, and it's something we want to really introduce into the platform. So these are kind of 5 items that we've pegged. Sorry?
I think the invoice system is excellent from my experience of other invoices I've sent out. I'm really enjoying it. So.
Oh, okay. So we're going to be introducing an invoicing system. I'm glad to hear that you like the process so far. There's a few others that have raised a few concerns about it, but that's okay. Hopefully the new way we do it will streamline a lot of the double dipping of downloading and sending PDFs and just email processing in general. And so it'll all be mostly automated. And so that's that feature. We also want to eventually take
maybe just quickly to elaborate this. So the current invoicing system is that you get a client referral from Clearhead, you accept it, you see the client, and then you separately invoice us with your own invoicing system to ensure that there's consistency, and it's almost as simple as clicking a button and then you generate an invoice. That's what is coming in place, so that you don't have to kind of search for the client detail, put it in. Literally, it's just like accept the appointment, and then when the appointment's done, you click another button that says send invoice to Clearhead. We just really want to streamline that process for you,
Right.
reduce this error, and just simplify the process. That's where we're getting to. But yeah, I'm handing it back to Kurishi.
Awesome, thank you. So we also are introducing a kind of a knowledge hub, a place where you can come and search for help. All the documentation we have on integrating with Clinico, Timely, Calendly, so all of that will be in this kind of resource hub. That'll be kind of displayed in the next webinar, probably in the new year. We will be making usability improvements. What that means is we would like to make everything you're using a whole lot easier to use, just because we feel it's a bit clunky, and we've gotten a bit of feedback that it's clunky. And so in essence, we want to make sure we provide the best experience to you. SMS reminders. I guess in this day and age, you can't really go without SMS reminders, and it's a bit late, but we would like to add that in. And there's many more that we've pegged down, but these are kind of the 5 that are key for 2022. And most of these we will be co-designing with you guys, because for invoicing we need to make sure that it's something that'll work for all of us. Payments, so same thing. SMS reminders, yeah. So all of the stuff we will be sending out, I guess, surveys, getting kind of feedback on what everyone's thoughts are. So it's going to be a very collaborative process. And so that's all I have pegged for this webinar. Like Angela said, we will be sending a video of this out, and I will also include, I guess, a survey about how the webinar went and whether, any feedback you guys have. So that's all from me, and I'll just pass it back to Angela to field any questions you have.
Yeah, look, I think the main thing is I want you to feel as sort of clinicians servicing the New Zealand population is that whatever we build to make your life easier. Because if we make your life easier, you're more likely to see more clients and not burn out because you're spending half that time doing admin on top of the therapy appointments. So so this really is just to say that we don't want to be building things for you that you don't want or won't find helpful. So we will continue to listen to you as we develop what we develop. And this is an open invitation to keep sharing what's working for you and what's not working for you, because we are listening and we will make improvement. Yeah, so if you have any other questions, feel free to bring it up here, but otherwise finishing the meeting on time is always a positive thing.